Hi, welcome back. So you've gotten all kinds of curious about this pull to food and what it looks like for you and what might be going on for you when you feel that pull arrive. Next, we're going to add on to it. So step one that you've already done is feel the pull. Okay? Feel the pull. Train yourself. This is like training a muscle at the gym. Train yourself to recognize when that pull arrives and what it kind of looks like. The next piece, part two, is to add a pause. So you feel the pull, and now I'm inviting you to let that pull be an invitation to pause. And in that pause, drop into awareness and keep that curiosity and compassion, those curiosity and compassion sidekicks along with you. Drop into awareness and we'll dig a little bit deeper into what might be going on for you. So here's a tool to do that. This tool is to ask yourself a question. And the question goes like this: what type of hunger is this? What type of hunger is this? Three choices. I wasn't going to leave you wide open so that you had to make it up for yourself. Okay, three choices. The first one is stomach hunger. Okay, this is your legitimate physiological hunger. This is the actual type of hunger that is solved by eating food. This is, this is when we need food to live. Stomach hunger. Okay, moving on. The second type of hunger is what I call head hunger. Okay. Head hunger is when you think you need to eat for some reason. This can be, it's breakfast time, I should have something to eat. It's lunch, I should have something to eat. It can be learned behavior, like when I go to the movies, I eat popcorn. Oh, well, that's probably a bad example. None of us are going to be going to the movies right now. When I go to, when I have a tea, I have a cookie or I have a muffin with it. Some type of learned behavior where food is tied to something else, that's head hunger. It can also be a craving of sorts. So you get that feeling that I want something sweet or I want something salty. But it's really this thing that's generated in your head. It usually has a should around it. I should do X, or I usually do Y. That is a good clue that it's head hunger. The third type of hunger is heart hunger. And this is your emotional hunger, right? This kind of hunger can be worried, it can be scared, it can be stressed, it can be bored, it can be loneliness. Anything that feels like a wanting of some nature. That's usually a good clue that it is heart hunger. So how can you determine this? Sometimes it's clear and we can identify these things pretty quickly. I'm going to give you a few more tools to use to help figure this out. So if you were to imagine that this pull to hunger is like the dashboard lights on your car, those lights that show up that tell you it's time for service and what you need to do. So you have a choice here, right? Before you watch the last video, and you may never have really paid attention to that pull to hunger at all. Now, hopefully, you have built a little bit of awareness around it, that you're kind of tuning in a different way when you feel it arrive, because not paying attention to that pull to hunger at all is kind of like covering up the dashboard lights and pretending you just don't want to see them. Like, I'm just going to pretend that's not there. The dashboard lights are asking you to take some kind of action, right? They're inviting you into action. This pull to food is the same. It's inviting you to pay attention to something. So if your head, stomach, and heart hunger were indicator lights on the dashboard, they might look a little like this. Stomach hunger often would be a light that would come from dim to brighter. So it would arrive, maybe at one point you're looking and you're like, oh, is it on? Is it not? You wait a little bit longer and it gets brighter, and then you're like, okay, yeah, there it is, that light is on. stomach hunger usually arrives like that. If it's head hunger, it can be something that comes on in an instant. So, like a light bulb going off, like, oh, I have an idea. Head hunger. The light suddenly comes on, and there it is. You've got a thought about eating food. Your pull to food is there, and it's driven from your head, from thinking. The third type of hunger, heart hunger. This guy shows up on the dashboard as a blinking light, maybe even with a siren. There's usually some level of urgency to it. It can come on really quickly and it can feel super intense, like it needs your attention right now. That may be a clue that what you're feeling is heart hunger. So you feel the pull. Here's what this looks like. You feel the pull to food. You add a pause. And in that pause, you ask yourself, what type of hunger is this? Wrap it up in curiosity and compassion. You won't know the answer at first until you pay attention with that curious kind of tone to it. So what kind of hunger is this? Is this stomach hunger? Is this head hunger? Is this heart hunger? Stomach hunger comes on usually a little more gradually. You can tune into what your stomach hunger feels like. Head hunger is like you've got an idea, and heart hunger is that really urgent blinking light saying, come and look after me right now. So here's the next practice. Feel the pull, add a pause, ask yourself, what type of hunger is this? And you're done. You've done the practice. Continue doing that, connecting that pull to food to a pause. And in doing that, what you're doing is disconnecting that pull to food to immediately eating, which has likely been the default path up until this point. You felt the pull, and in response to the pull, you eat. Now you're going to feel the pull, and in response to the pull, you're adding a pause to tune in a little bit. What you do from there really doesn't matter at this point. The practice is connecting the pull to the pause, and one step before that, being aware of when that pull shows up in the first place. You got this. I'm rooting for you.